It has long been assumed that inheriting money is the best, if not the quickest way to become wealthy. After all, you essentially win a lottery at birth. However, some renowned individuals, even millionaires and billionaires, felt that leaving their wealth to children and grandchildren would be both unfair and hazardous. Some of the world's wealthiest individuals chose to maximize their family inheritance rather than keeping it within the family. They had a much bigger vision: to ensure that their children and grandchildren worked hard and made riches on their own terms. These ultra-wealthy excluded their children from their wills, and some even decided to cut them out completely. But before we start, smash the like button, subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming stories. With a net worth of $500 million, Elton John has released over 30 albums, toured extensively, and provided everlasting joy to the world. He also wrote the Oscar-winning song "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" for the soundtrack of the Disney blockbuster The Lion King. Elton has two sons, who have grown up in the spotlight of their father's celebrity and wealth. He told the Daily Mirror newspaper that after his death, they will have to forge their own pathways to achievement. "Of course, I want to leave my boys in a secure financial position. Giving children a silver spoon, however, is a poor idea. It ruins their lives." Aaron Spelling, a famous TV producer, was valued approximately $600 million. For years, he had the golden touch on television. He produced shows such as Charlie's Angels, Starsky, Hutch, Melrose Place, Beverly Hills 90,000, 210, The Love Boat, and Fantasy Island. Spelling utilized the riches of his fame to lavishly treat his children Tori and Randy with trips and presents, eventually building one of Beverly Hills' largest residences. Later, Spelling believed that his children couldn't handle the enormous wealth owing to their extravagant spending habit. According to reports, after his death, he left his daughter Tori with less than $1 million of his $600 million inheritance. Gene Simmons' initial path to prominence was as the bassist and co-lead singer of Kiss, the iconic 1970s glam metal rock band. Simmons increased his revenue from music royalties during the last few decades by investing in restaurants, motorsports, and commercial cannabis. Simmons, although being a multi-millionaire for many years, grew up in poverty. In an interview with CNBC, he stated that he wants his son and daughter to be driven to achieve their own success. Every day, they should be forced to get up out of bed and go out and work and make their own way, according to him. Sean Connery, best known as the actor who portrayed secret agent James Bond, grew up in difficult circumstances. Connery dropped out of school at the age of 13 after having a less than ideal childhood. He went on to work as a truck driver, milk delivery boy, and coffin polisher. Later on, he learned to capitalize on his good looks as a bodybuilder, model, and, finally, actor. Connery amassed a 9-figure income and was knighted after acting in dozens of films over the course of 6 decades. However, according to his ex-wife Diane Cilento, Connery did not pass it on to his only son, Jason. When asked about his reaction, Jason defended his father, saying The Telegraph that his father earned this money through nothing but his own tireless hard work, and what he does with it and who he gives it to is completely up to him. Andrew Lloyd Webber, an award-winning playwright and composer with a net worth of $1.2 billion, has demonstrated that it is possible to produce both quality and quantity. Webber has composed some of the most memorable music for the theater and movie over the last half-century, including The Phantom of the Opera, Cats, Evita, and Jesus Christ Superstar. He has received scores of trophies and has joined the rare EGOT club by winning Grammy, Oscar, Emmy, and Tony Awards. While it is unclear what would happen to his riches after his death, Weber revealed his financial goals in an interview with the Daily Mirror, emphasizing the importance of hard work above inheritance. Weber said of his 5 children from 2 marriages, "They aren't bothered. They do not think that way. It is about having a work ethic. I do not believe in inherited money at all." Gordon Ramsay, a celebrity chef, does not create friends by slapping them on the back or saying nice things. Ramsay's renown stems from his quick temper and aggressive words toward both staff and detractors, earning him an estimated $220 million. Even though his achievement has resulted in a 9-figure fortune, he appears to have little desire to pass it down to his 5 children. Ramsay expressed his belief in tough love in an interview with The Telegraph, revealing that he wanted to donate the majority of his money to charity. "I've never been really attracted to money. My children don't sit with us in first class. They haven't worked nearly hard enough to afford that," he explained. Baron Hilton, chairman and heir of the Hilton Hotel Corporation, has a net worth of $4.5 billion. Baron grew up a wealthy, having inherited his father Conrad's inheritance, the man who founded the family hotel business and became a global hospitality leader. He made sure to take advantage of the unlimited access and choices that came with his wealth. He founded the American Football League, which subsequently merged with the NFL to form the Super Bowl. and indulged in a costly pastime as a private pilot. Barron, on the other hand, took a different approach to passing on his assets to his 8 children and high-profile grandchildren, including Paris and Nikki Hilton. He opted to defy family tradition and donate 97% of his fortune to charity, with a majority going to the Conrad and Hilton Foundation. Bill Gates, the creator of Microsoft, has a massive net worth of $106.8 billion. Nobody expected him to become the world's richest person for the majority of the last 2 decades, let alone a millionaire by the age of 26. Gates dropped out of Harvard to form Microsoft with his childhood friend Paul Allen. Bill and his ex-wife Melinda have used their riches to inspire and enable others to improve the lives of the world's poorest people. Before announcing their split after 27 years together, the two established the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, to which over 99% of their legacy would be dedicated. Though the two have stated that they will contribute a relatively modest $10 million to each of their 3 children, they encourage other billionaires to follow suit. They've encouraged others to donate their inheritance to a worthy cause through a program known as the Giving Pledge. Joan Crawford had 4 children and a net worth of approximately $2 million. Despite her rise to stardom in 1930s Hollywood, where she was noted for her beauty, acting range, and sensuous manner, she had a darker side. Christina, Crawford's adopted daughter, documented her mother's abusive conduct, which she only displayed on occasion. In her memoir, Mommy Dearest, which was published a year after her mother died in 1977, Crawford gave $77,500 to her 2 younger children, Cindy and Kathy, but excluded Christina and Christopher from her will entirely. She went on, "It is my intention to make no provision herein for my son Christopher or my daughter Christina for reasons which are well known to them." Sonny Bono, a famous singer and Cher's ex-husband, has an estimated net worth of $4 million. The couple had several children together, including son Chaz Bono, and had been married for several years before splitting up. Sonny died as a consequence of a terrible skiing accident in 1998 at the age of 62, when he plunged headfirst into a tree and killed on impact because he was not wearing a helmet. At the time of his death, Sonny and Chaz were estranged. Chaz and Cher had a falling out but eventually reunited. It is stated that Sonny's involvement with the Church of Scientology contributed to Chaz's estrangement from his father. Renowned defense attorney for O.J. Simpson, Robert Kardashian, has a net worth of $30 million. After his long struggle with cancer, he left his estate to his wife Ellen Pearson. He had only been married to Pearson for less than a year. His first wife and 4 children, Chloe, Courtney, Kim, and Rob, were not mentioned in his will. Despite the fact that they went on to have quite prosperous careers, they were upset and challenged the will in court. The judge rejected the lawsuit, which claimed that Robert's widow had fabricated documents. Bob Marley, a Jamaican singer, died at the age of 36 in Miami, Florida, in 1981. He was one of the world's most famous reggae singers. His career, which began in 1962, came to an abrupt end when he died of cancer. He has a net worth of $130 million and 11 children. Marley never made a will because his Rastafarian ideology forbade him from acknowledging his own mortality. As a result, his estate became the source of numerous familial disputes, which continue to this day. Gordon Sumner, better known as Sting, spent the most of the 1970s working as a construction worker, bus conductor, tax clerk, and teacher before becoming the main singer for the band The Police later that decade. His stint with the band and subsequent successful solo career increased his net worth to an estimated $400 million. He continues to produce new work and tour. In an interview with The Guardian, Sting stated that his 6 children should not anticipate much after his death due to his spending habit. "I told them there would be little money left because we were squandering everything. We have several commitments. We spend what comes in, leaving little left over. I certainly do not want to leave children with trust monies that are like albatrosses around their necks. They need to work. All of my children understand this, and they rarely ask for anything from me, which I greatly respect and enjoy." Philip Seymour Hoffman made his fortune via his roles in the films Scent of a Woman, The Big Lebowski, and Boogie Nights. He later won an Oscar for Best Actor for his performance in the film Capote. Unfortunately, his career was cut short when he died of a horrific drug overdose in 2014. Even though his death came as a surprise, Hoffman had taken official efforts to ensure that his 3 children would not grow up to be entitled trust fund kids. He bequeathed his estate to his partner and the children's mother, Mimi O'Donnell. While he did not believe he needed to secure his riches for his children, he did state that he wanted them to be raised in a city with art and culture, including New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. Despite making his fortune in the ultra-competitive and volatile world of media and sports, Turner increasingly turned to the rural side of America, purchasing enormous tracts of land in the western plains and mountains. At one point, he was the largest landowner in all of America. As a result, Turner established the Turner Foundation in 1990 with environmental and conservation objectives as its top goal. Turner's 7 children will reportedly not inherit any of his $2 billion fortune, as he has pledged to donate the majority of his riches to charity when he dies. Mickey Rooney, one of the last living silent film actors, was known for films such as Night at the Museum, National Velvet, and The Black Stallion. He began his career as a child, appearing in vaudeville plays, and was reported to be worth $20 at the time of his death. Rooney was born in 1920 and died in 2014. Rooney had 11 children and a wife named Jan Rooney, whom he married in 1979. Just a few weeks before his death, Rooney decided to disinherit 8 of his children. He bequeathed his tiny estate, which was due to debt, to his stepson. Marlon Brando, a 2-time Oscar winner with a net worth of $100 million, has been described as one of the finest actors of all time. Brando's career lasted almost 60 years, beginning in 1944 and ending in 2004, thanks to his chameleon-like acting skills and ability to impersonate practically anyone. Brando's most iconic performances were in movies like A Streetcar Named Desire, Apocalypse Now, and The Godfather. Brando had 11 children, including Christian Brando, who was unstable and died before his father. Brando's other children were similarly troublesome, and before his death at the age of 80, he excluded 2 of them from his will. David Cassidy rose to prominence as Keith Partridge on the sitcom The Partridge Family in the 1970s. Cassidy was born in Manhattan in 1950 and died in Fort Lauderdale in 2017. As a singer and actor, he rose to prominence as a teen superstar in the 1970s and amassed a net worth of $500,000. Cassidy had 2 children, Beau and Katie, and while he claimed to be proud of his daughter, the two had a rocky relationship for reasons neither party revealed. It became evident when he left $150,000 to his son Beau after his death and signed Katie out of his will. The stars of that 70s show, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, met on the set in 1998. The two didn't start dating until 2012, years after the show ended in 2006. They married in 2015 and have 2 children. While they struggled to protect their children's privacy, Ashton discussed their thoughts about the children's financial future. Kutcher claimed in an interview on the podcast Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, "I'm not establishing trust for them. We plan to donate our money to charities and other causes. I am willing to invest in my children's businesses if they have a solid business strategy, but they lack trust. So perhaps they'll be driven to have what they had, or something similar to it." Richard Oldman Harrison became well known as one of the pawn shop owners on the reality television show Pawn Stars. He had 3 boys, Christopher, Joseph, and Rick Jr. Rick, his son, co-starred with him on the show. When Richard Harrison Sr. amended his will in 2017, he swiftly excluded his son Christopher, although he never explained why, and neither did Rick Jr., his executor. We know that the inheritance would have been substantial, given Harrison's net worth of $8 million. John Denver's primary claim to fame was the song Take Me Home, Country Roads. Denver, born Henry Deutschendorf Jr., was a philanthropist who supported environmental issues and launched the World Hunger Project. Before dying in a plane crash in 1997, he performed his renowned song at the Wildlife Concert, which was one of his best performances. He had 3 children, Jessie Bell, Zachary, and Anna Kate, as well as 2 adoptive children. He also had 2 ex-wives whom he disinherited. The singer and guitarist had previously been a part of the band Peter, Paul, and Mary. Tony Curtis worked from 1949 to 2008, amassing $60 million before his death in 2010. Married 6 times, with 6 children including Jamie Lee Curtis, he disinherited all of them shortly before he died. 50 Cent, born Curtis Jackson III, overcame a rough childhood, drugs, and gun violence to become famous. His family life was turbulent, especially with his ex Shaniqua Tompkins, and he later publicly disowned his son Marquise. Warren Buffett, worth over $100 billion, lives simply in Omaha and pledged 99% of his fortune to charity, rejecting dynastic wealth. Pablo Picasso, one of history's greatest artists, left behind $500 million and 4 children. His death in 1973 triggered inheritance battles among his widow and children. George Lucas, creator of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, sold Lucasfilm to Disney for $4 billion and $500 million. Despite having 4 children, he pledged most of his wealth to charity, focusing on education. Simon Cowell, with a net worth of $506 million from talent shows like American Idol and X Factor, believes success should be earned, not inherited, and plans not to pass his fortune to his son. Kevin O'Leary, worth $400 million, also rejects inheritance, insisting his children must succeed through self-reliance, as fear and drive motivated him. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, left behind about $400 million. In his 2002 will, he divided his estate among his mother, children, and charities, cutting out his father due to their troubled relationship. Reg Grundy, Australian TV producer worth $800 million, died in 2016, leaving his fortune to his wife Joy and daughter Kim. A man, Simon Thomas Russell, claimed to be his son but was disqualified after a DNA test. Jackie Chan, actor and martial artist with $400 million, plans to leave half his fortune to charity rather than his son, stressing self-reliance. Mackenzie Bezos, one of the richest women in the world, received 4% of Amazon, worth around $40 billion after divorcing Jeff Bezos in 2019, with whom she shares 4 children. Glenn Campbell, singer of Rhinestone Cowboy, left about $500,000 in his will, but disinherited 3 of his children after they contested it. Donatella Versace, worth $200 million, leads the fashion empire after her brother Gianni's death. Gianni left half his fortune to his niece Allegra, disinheriting his longtime partner. Andrew Carnegie, steel tycoon worth a modern equivalent of $372 billion, gave most of his fortune to charity, leaving his children little. Maurice Lebas, real estate magnate worth $20 million, left his estate to his 2 daughters with strict conditions, such as marrying before inheriting. Larry Page, co-founder of Google and former Alphabet CEO, is worth about $60 billion. Retiring in 2019, he chose to focus on family life with his wife Lucinda and their 2 children. Known for his strong values, Page cut ties with Sergey Brin after discovering Brin's affair with a younger employee. Davina McCall, London TV presenter of Big Brother, has a net worth of $4 million. Married to Matthew Robertson until 2017, she has 3 children. Despite her fortune, she plans not to pass it on to her kids, wanting them to earn their own success. Stieg Larsson, Swedish author of the Millennium series, left behind $50 million when he died in 2004. His longtime partner Eva Gabrielsson received nothing, as he never signed a witnessed will. Despite this, his novels sold around 55 million copies worldwide. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscription, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming story.